And yeah, as we've seen, they butchered the whole Secret Invasion storyline. So I don't know how they would do this. If they were to introduce Spider Woman without Spider Man affiliation or the name, I guess she would be like a Shield agent, maybe even like a Black Widow. I
Hmm.
don't know how they would do that, but those are some potential options. Originally, Michael Bendis was going to use Jessica Drew for his comic. Is it Alias? Yeah, Alias,
Hmm.
which he decided against, and that's why we got the character of Jessica Jones. So Jessica Drew was actually meant to be Jessica Jones. And like basically the entire character of Jessica Jones, that was going to be just Jessica Drew essentially. So I'm not sure if people know that, but it's out there. You could read about it.
Also, the closest thing we got to her on the big screen was Spider Verse, but it was a different version, wasn't
Yeah,
it? It
it
was
was a
Spider
different
Woman, but
version.
wasn't. Yeah,
It was Jessica Drew, but again, this it wasn't. You
yeah.
could tell that they. I'm guessing the reason why they changed it is because the rights. Again, Sony owns part of the rights. It's kind of like Kingpin. Sony owns Kingpin, but to a certain extent, Marvel could also use Kingpin. So that's the
Yeah.
reason why. So the next character I have on here, Sideways already mentioned in the chat, but I'll elaborate. Beta
Sure.
Ray Bill. Okay. This is a character that blows my mind that he's not in the MCU. Thor took his weapon of choice, but there are other weapons he can use. But this character, to be honest, I'll say this. I think this character could be in his own TV show or movie. I'm going to lean toward TV show, but if they wanted
Hmm.
to do a story with Sif, bring back Sif, and because obviously Sif is Beta Ray Bill's lover, but also if you are into comics, 2 years ago there was a pretty good comic of it was just a standalone miniseries with Beta Ray Bill, and it was pretty badass. So it had amazing art. The art that you're seeing right now, that's from the comic. It's super cool. Um, so yeah, the thing is, Beta Ray Bill has been mentioned in the MCU, but again,
Hmm.
never appeared. Right? We saw his statue in Thor
Yeah.
Ragnarok with Man Thing, who we now have Man Thing. So Man Thing, he's not going to be on this list. But I don't know why they haven't added him. He would be a cool character. So the next character. Okay, so this is a character I was saying. Again to build this up, and we probably mentioned this, or I've probably told Aaron, but one of the biggest problems with the Marvels is that they're missing a male character. And the male character that I suggested is Blue Marvel. Okay, Blue Marvel has yet to appear in the MCU. I don't know why. He's a prominent black character. He's kind of like Superman. He's very cosmic oriented. He was on the Ultimates, the 616 Ultimates, and he would have made an actual better addition to the Marvels.
I,
So that was a
I
blunder on their part.
I think there was a Funko Pop made for him for the Marvels.
There was all types of rumors. There was a rumor that there was an actor. He's actually from Toronto. He was going to
Yeah.
play Blue Marvel. He was
Yeah.
also in John Wick 4. He had a pretty cool role in John Wick 4. He was called the Tracker, if you've seen that movie. But yeah, he didn't appear in the movie. There was no mentions of Marvel from what I can tell. Because like I said, I don't like the Marvels. I didn't really look for Easter eggs or any of that stuff. But
Hmm.
I think it was a waste. Blue Marvel really should have been the male character. Maybe a potential he could have been. You could have had Captain Marvel, and then you could have had Blue Marvel as the main characters, but they didn't do that. So yeah. So the next character I have, this one is underrated as hell, is Tigra. Okay,
Tyro.
Tigra
Yes.
is on the West Coast Avengers. Recently she's like buddies with Moon Knight. Um, they kind of have like a thing going on. So I mean, she's a pretty like well-known Marvel character, and the thing is, she has appeared in other media, and she's actually appeared recently, not in the MCU, but she has appeared in a Disney show or Disney movie. Does anybody want to guess this? Does anybody want to guess this?
The
Where she
movie?
appeared? Yeah, this is like 2 years ago. This is like people might have forgotten, but
What movie came out 2 years ago for Disney?
Disney. Yeah,
Avatar.
she was in a Disney movie. Tigra, the character Tigra appeared in a
Uh,
Disney movie.
there's three Marvel movies of Disney.
Not
Uh,
Marvel. It was not a Marvel movie. It was a Disney movie. And Tigra, the Marvel character, appeared in this movie.
what came out 2 years ago? Oh, I don't know. It's not
So I'll
Avatar.
just I'll just say it. It was Chip and Dale.
Chip and
The Chip,
Dale's.
the Chip and
Oh,
Dale movie had a cameo from Tigra. Remember, she was buddies with Ugly
the
Sonic.
Disney Plus
This was
movie.
a
Yeah.
joke. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Tigra did appear in that because she was a member of the animated. If you know this is some obscure stuff, but there was a Avengers animated series in the '90s, and it had like I think it had Wonder Man. It might have Vision on there, but it had like not the best Avengers characters. Let's be honest, right? But Tigra was one of them, and so the movie was kind of making a joke about that. But Tigra, super underrated character. She should show up in the MCU. She could be like a really cool, badass female character.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, okay. So the next character, this is the big character because, like I said, this character is technically teased in the MCU. And it's been 5 years, and even though he was teased, and yes, it's a male character, we haven't seen them at all, which is suspect. But this is Captain Britain.
Oh
Okay?
yeah.
Captain Britain, if you don't know, Sideways probably knows, right? I see Sideways throwing out all the recommendations.
Mm-hmm.
S- Captain Britain was mentioned in Avengers Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
Now the thing is, it's not audible. You can't actually hear him mention, but the scene where Steve goes to the past and he sees Peggy Carter, Peggy Carter's actually talking about uh his father. I believe it's his father, and which pretty much sets up the fact that Captain Britain in this universe does exist. Because again, his father that was like what wasn't that in the 70s or was that in like the 50s? I can't remember.
That when it in Endgame, I think it
Yeah.
might have been 60s or 70s.
Yeah, it was because we did see Tony's father from Iron Man 2, not the one from Captain America. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
the
that
older version. Yeah.
yeah, so this is so that those are the top characters I think could fit well into the MCU. Like they would have like I feel like the characters that we've recently got introduced to, I don't know. I think these characters, yeah, they're very niche, but I think they could, with some modern magic, they could be relevant, right? They could be just as relevant as the Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, I do have an honorable mentions list, so I'll get to that. Now, there's some technicalities on this one, again, but we'll just jump into it. Okay, so the first character I have here is technically a character who did appear in the MCU, technically, which is Hellcat. But the
She
thing
might
is,
appear. She might appear again. Who knows?
yeah, the thing is, there's a high chance that she appears again because she was in Jessica Jones. We
Yeah.
did see her take on the costume, but it was an official costume.
Let me. Oh man, I can see that down below because our,
Yeah.
our our icons are blocking it.
Well, I'll explain because again, that
Yeah.
one's another technical MCU
Yeah.
character. But Hellcat is a character I think would be cool. Okay, the next character,
Mhm.
another one technically MCU, but this character should get a movie. Is Deathlock.
Ooh, yeah.
Deathlock in the MCU is not Deathlock. It was like an Agents of Shield
Yes, Deathlock was the Agent of Shield. Yeah,
situation.
but it was
Yeah, but they
human. That
were
was not human. This is not human.
yeah. Well, he's from the past. It's supposed to be he's a dystopian, futuristic character who it's kind of
Oh,
like Terminator.
he looks like
So
he looks like Gorilla Grodd with technology. I don't know.
yeah, it's he's human. He's a
Oh,
cyborg, right?
the cyborg.
So
Yeah.
yeah, he's the thing is the MCU interpretation of this character. I didn't like it personally, but I think they need to come back to this character.
Yeah.
And the thing is, another fun fact: Deathlock was going to be getting a movie in the early days of the MCU, and then they scrapped it. So
And
there's
decided
fun
to put him in the show, right?
fact. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they put it in the show. So next character, Sideways did mention this character, but this one is also a two-way situation because this character is actually multiple characters. So and it's Rick Jones.
Hmm.
Rick Jones for whatever reason, has not appeared in the MCU. This is like the biggest blunder, which, I mean, to be fair, we haven't gotten Hulk movies. He's a Hulk related character, but he's also, because, I mean, as you can see here, he was A-Bomb. A-Bomb is, the
Yeah.
Goliath, the blue Goliath. He's buddies with the Hulk. I mean, they did the animated show with him.
Yeah.
But Rick Jones is also, or was, Captain Marvel. So if the MCU really wanted to, they could have introduced him in a Captain Marvel related movie. But again, that's never happened. It's a shame. He's kind of a cool character. He's a bit of a sidekick. But anyway. Okay, so the next character, again, Sideways mentioned this in the chat, but this is a character I kind of found weird. We've never seen this character. Quasar.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
crazy.
Quasar has not he's not been mentioned in the Guardians movies. He's nowhere. And the thing
No,
is, he's been on the Guardians. There's other people who've taken on the mantle of Quasar, but Quasar could be its own TV show or movie if they wanted to. Right? He's had his own standalone comic. It's a very weird comic too, but he's a character I would have liked to see. Like if they did a new Guardians of the Galaxy team, he should be on it, in my opinion. Okay, so the next one, I mean, it's probably the weirdest one, which is Hit Monkey. Now, Hit Monkey right now has a TV show that people ignore. I haven't seen it, but it got a second season, which just came out in July.
hmm
So I think it would be a weird character to see, especially. I mean, I could be messing up here. I'm only going off of my memory, but I could have swore Hitmonkey and Deadpool had like some sort of thing going on, but I could be wrong.
you know what? That'd be funny if they had like just Hit
Yeah,
Monkey and Dead Wolverine just for the fun of it.
yeah, that would have been cool. I mean, they are continuing the show at least, but
Yeah.
it's not. Yeah, it's not connected to Marvel. The thing is, there are characters. It's weird, right? Because another group, I didn't include them, but another group that was rumored to be in the MCU, and I mean, they're now established property, is the Big Hero 6. That's obviously a Disney movie, but
Yeah.
they're Marvel characters. So,
Yeah.
we never, there was this rumor that they were going to appear in the MCU. They never did. Yeah,
Mhm.
Darkheart was a character I had on this list, but I kind of got confused because I was like, hold on a minute, give me a second. Because yeah, Darkhawk. Um, because at first I thought he was, I'll just say this. I thought Darkheart was Sylvester Stallone's character in Guardians, but I could
Oh,
be
it was.
wrong. I also thought I mixed it up. That's why I took him off the list
I
because I was like,
forget
oh,
his.
I don't know the character actually.
I forget his
I have to Google it.
characters. I
I thought he
forget.
was not. I thought Nighthawk
Oh,
was Darkheart Hawk,
yeah.
and so because I know Nighthawk because he's on the Squadron Supreme, but
Yeah.
yeah, this Darkheart character, I googled him and I was like, yeah, I'm not familiar with this character, so I just took him off the list. But he does seem like a pretty cool character. There are some obscure characters that look cool, and you're like, oh yeah, that would be awesome if they appeared. But because they're not even in the comics, right?
hmm
But okay, so the final character, again, this is a technicality, but it would be Cloak and Dagger. Now, we did get the show, but that's now been removed. It's
Yep.
not on Disney Plus, and it's not part of the MCU.
No.
So it's kind of like I feel like it's the biggest waste that Cloak and Dagger have never appeared in the MCU, like in the movies, because I mean they could pretty much be anywhere. They could be in a Spider-Man movie, they can be on
Yeah.
the Avengers. Like they're pretty prominent and they usually show up. Um, I mean, even in like the latest events, you still see Cloak and Dagger.
hmm
So it is kind of weird they're not in the MCU. But anyway, okay, so now we're on to the villain side.
The villains.
Okay. So this villain, I